dad was in the electric motor business and was visiting a customer of his in Ottawa Regional Laundry. He was in the office of the general manager and he saw something that looked like a hockey pant sitting in the corner. What is this? He said, oh, it's an idea I've been working on, an incontinence pad. My dad didn't know what that was. And he explained, and my dad was intrigued and said, hey, do you mind if I play around with this idea? I'm looking for something new to do.
Jerry and I had a mutual friend. His name was Howard. And Howard knew that I was looking for something a little more adventurous. Jerry had just started a business. It was a medical diaper of some sort, all in one. I wasn't quite sure what that meant at the time. My involvement initially was finding a source of waterproof material that would withstand laundry equipment that was a very sophisticated caliber. The machines were enormous.
First product was number 101, and item 101 was this pant that looked a lot like a hockey pant. It was an incontinence pant.
And it was a god-awful thing. It really was. It was huge. It was a treat to look at it because it really made you laugh. And that was the first all-in-one reusable diaper with a barrier on the exterior and absorbent material on the inside, and they called it MIP pant. We started our business in a small basement of an office building. The premises were tiny, I would say the size of my office later on in life. And there was a deli just next door. So we had to keep our door closed all the time because you could smell the French fries and the smoked meat and the pickles. So it was very much Montreal.
The company, when I came into it, was known as an incontinence specialist. The disposables started to take hold, and we had to make a change, and we couldn't count on that business continuing. And in fact, today I think it's 0.2% of our business. We already had the customer base that would allow us to get into other textiles that are being used in healthcare, other reusable textiles. And that's where it spilled over into new products that were in the same vein as the ones that we were already selling.
As we expanded into other product ranges like bed linen, patient gowns, surgical gowns, we decided to change the name to MIP rather than Medipants. Actually, we thought of IBM, International Business Machines. If they could make it on 3 letters, we could make it on 3 letters as well. We never felt that we would only sell in Montreal area or within Quebec. We felt that the world was our oyster. We went after Canada first, then stepped into the US. And it just seemed, each time we would move on, it just seemed easier and easier. That being said, it was also very important that we understood exactly what it was that the client was looking for. That was something we instilled in all our sales force and all our people, is to be very inquisitive.
Customer-centric to our company, and particularly to me, means engaging your customer to understand what their specific needs are and how we can adapt either the product or services that we supply them to meet their needs.
When I started, I came to learn very, very early on that people had a very, very high set of knowledge, competence about the business and caring for the business.
The leadership team at MIP is among the best that any of my partners and I have come across in the many, many businesses that we look at on an annual basis. And that trickles down. The entire employee base, we're just great people, very committed to their long-term careers at the company and committed to continue building the company.
I'd like to think it's because of my dad. So he always believed that people are the core of everything that you do as a company.
His style of management was to walk around with a cup of coffee and get to know everybody and get to know what their families. So he was a revered figure.
My dad retired probably about the age of 65, 66.
It was a real shock to the people in the company, especially to the people in the factory. I came into it with a bit of trepidation. I knew that I was not the same as Jerry Friedman. I was taking the time to really get to understand what the company was about, and I recognized that what we had was a group of people who felt like a family, who loved what they did, who worked hard, and were proud of the company that they worked for.
This year I celebrated my 30th year. If you stay somewhere so long, it means you love it so much. I love this company. They respect me, they hear me, not only me, all the employees.
I've been working for MIP for the past 23 years. We always have our ups and downs in each department, and whenever we're stuck, We ask for help and we always get it with no frustration.
Just to talk to a CEO normally in the company, you would see him maybe once a year, where I used to be. And here I can approach him, I can even say just, hey, how are you doing? And it's like a normal thing.
I'm not able to work if I don't work with passion. And it does 32 years that I'm here, but I'm still having that passion.
People just get up every morning thinking about how can we do good for our customers. And just that passion is really what makes this company so great.
We have a culture that says, hey, people are people. It doesn't matter where they are in the organization. When they had the terrible hurricanes in Haiti, we have a fair number of Haitian employees, and they were totally upset and obviously out of touch with some of their relatives and family back in Haiti. You know, a simple thing that we did, which was to talk to them about what we could do for them, whether it was money or whether it was helping with trying to communicate with people, whether it was, paying for phone bills. When they're hit with something that hurts, if we can help out, we'd like to.
So MIP has a reputation for being innovative. It's really what has brought us to where we are today, and we want to continue to earn that reputation every single day. So that's why we're investing in capabilities and competencies when it comes to innovation. And innovation comes from so many places. It comes from our employees that are out there in the field every day. It comes from employees that are working with our products in other forms, and it can come from our customers.
We spent time looking for a potential partner who was going to be the private equity partner, who had a philosophy that matched ours. We made a really good choice with Banyan. They're allowing us to continue to be the company that we have always been and to grow from the strengths that we have.
What we want to do, our main objective with MIP, is to preserve the amazing base that David, and Avian built over the years, that Jerry Friedman started, while also helping to push the entire team to continue to build itself into a great company across borders into the future.
It's really the people at MIP who's brought us to where we are today, and they're also going to bring us into the future. So for us, it's really to tap into people's skill set and their passion more than anything. We believe that we're really set up for a great future.
Or there used to be, and probably still is, an expression that people at MIP bleed green blood. My dad, he always felt that way, and David really embraced that and nurtured it in his own way. And the two of them have really set the tone for what MIP is today, and I hope for many years to come.